Welcome to 1991 Movie Rewind, a podcast where we watch and review every movie released in 1991, from the all-time greatest classics to the critically panned and everything in between. We will rediscover forgotten fan favorites and uncover hidden gems as we explore the depths of direct-to-video. Join us in our celebration of the fun, unique, and diverse films of this highly underrated year. This week, we watched FX2. And thank you for joining us on 1991 Movie Rewind. FX2 takes place about 5 years after the events of the first movie. Rollie, played by Bryan Brown, is retired from doing special effects and lives with his new girlfriend Kim and her son. But he's pulled back in once again to work for the police and use his gadgets to catch a potential killer. However, just like last time, things go wrong and crooked cops are involved. Rollie goes on the run to save his family and also tries to solve the mystery with the help of an old friend. Screenplay by Condon, directed by Richard Franklin, and released on May 10th, 1991. Have you seen FX2?
I'm gonna say no, but I do remember the first one, and mainly all I remember is the actual effects and things that he made. Like the monster.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I remember.
I mean, the monster is memorable.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about this at all. When I heard FX2, there's no nostalgia, no memories. I had no clue that this was even
about special effects or anything.
I mean, I had a guess, but I mean, it's such a generic name. It could be, I don't know. Like these days, it's the name of like a TV channel. You know what I mean? Like FX2. But yeah, I had no idea what this was. Completely went in fresh. And so we watched both of them. But obviously, this is the only one that was released in 1991. The first one was good. Yeah, I enjoyed the first one quite a bit. This one felt like a lot of like rehashing the same stuff and fan service, and I don't know how many fans there were to service from the first one, but
yeah, it was focused mostly on his gadgets.
Yeah,
like it was very Inspector Gadget to me.
Yeah, but I almost wish there was more of it, because I don't know. So the general The easiest way to describe this to somebody who's never seen anything like this is basically it's like adult Home Alone.
Yeah. This movie is a lot like adult Home Alone.
Yeah.
The second one that we just watched.
So he's trying to... There's cops who are involved in some sort of operation that he was involved in, and they're crooked, and they're trying to tie up the loose ends by killing him because he knows too much. Or, you know, he was involved at all, and so they want to kill him to get him out of the way. This one is the mob, and he's using all of his special effects knowledge from working in the movie industry to build things to help get him out of tight spots and to kill his pursuers.
Yeah.
Basically. So, yeah, Home Alone with, like, a little bit of blood, swearing, nudity, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's PG-13, but there's still death and nudity in here.
Yeah, they show the shower scene, and that's just straight up nudity.
Yeah. I know that they were planning on making this an R-rated movie, but this one is PG-13. And I think they got around that by you could clearly see some overdub fucks, sort of like what we saw in like Don't Tell Mom, Babysitter's Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple spots where you clearly...
I mean, death, the one just gory, it's not really gory, but the death of, you know, the cop.
Yeah, at the beginning,
where he gets his throat slashed. That's probably the most goriest scene or death out of all the deaths we see.
Yeah, in terms of like real people. So like this one, just like the other one, starts off with like a fake movie.
Yeah.
And so like they don't tell you that it's a movie, but they play out a scene where there's like this
like the first one, there was like a shootout of a restaurant and
Yeah.
a bunch of people die, and then it's like cut, and then all the actors are like, "Do we do okay?" type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second movie starts off kind of like that, where it's like this robot.
It's this woman who turns out to be a robot man alien thing.
Yeah, it's
And
like
he
a
gets destroyed by the cops
trans
too.
robot alien.
Dressed up like a sultry woman
Yeah.
in a convertible, and this homeless man confronts her or something like that, or talks to her asking to clean the windows, and cops come and shoot him up and blow him up, and you can see all kinds of like goo and stuff on
Yeah,
his-
yeah. I mean, that's gory, but then, you hear
But it's
the
not
cut
realistic,
again, and, it's another movie that's being shot.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's about the extent of the gore, but they probably could have gone farther if they decided to go full force and do R. But they wanted to do the PG-13 because I guess there were enough, like, younger fans of the original.
I understand,
So-
yeah, because I don't want to say that I was a fan when I was younger, but I liked the gadgetry and, like, the one monster that he made, that it's in this second movie, but it's mainly
Cameo.
in the first movie. It's kind of
there's
like
a
this.
cameo from the monster in the movie.
He makes like this electronic monster that kind of jumps out at you if you enter his loft apartment
Yeah,
type of thing.
to scare intruders.
Yeah, it's supposed to scare intruders, but it's like if anyone opens a door, it pops out at you.
Mm-hmm. So that makes a brief appearance again. But I don't know. A lot of the gadgets were... It's not like MacGyver level. It's not really James Bond. It's like
Yeah.
somewhere lesser than those.
That's why I say it's like Inspector Gadget, because you know how sometimes he makes a gadget and it kind of fails.
Yeah.
But I mean, none of
But
these
none of
gadgets
these
failed.
fail.
But
But
they're
they're-
just kind of like really, I guess at that time they were really high tech, but now we're just like, eh.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Like you see, like these lipstick cameras or whatever that they place in the woman's apartment, and now that's such a novelty because every little tiny button pinhole could be a
It could
camera.
be a camera, yeah.
But that was like a new thing, or like watchy-talkies.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that concept has been around for years, like since the 50s, and talking to the watch,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
talk to me. So it's like stuff like that rather than like creative gadgets. It's like tripwires and shooting hot dogs out of a tennis ball.
I think
Delivery
that was to
machine.
catch some dogs.
Yeah, I know,
that
but I'm just
wasn't-
saying it wasn't like hyper creative.
Like he uses the mashed potato, the instant mashed potatoes
for snow.
for snow
Yeah,
on a summer day. I didn't understand that.
just a distraction. A
I
visual
know it's a
thing of, like,
distraction,
what's
but
this about? Yeah.
but it was really weird.
Yeah, so I mean the gadgets aren't like interesting to look at is my main point. And even in the first movie they didn't do a great job of using the gadgets too much because they kind of just had that one chase scene when they're in the special effects van and then they just dump stuff out of the back of the van while they're moving,
Yeah,
and that's where they used up most of the props and
They
stuff.
use what like kind of they look like bombs or something.
Yeah, at one point they use bombs to get the truck back, and then they're dropping fluid on there, and then they dropped the dummy on the road.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, to make it look as if it was a real person rolling on the road, so
Yeah.
that the cops or whoever that were chasing them would stop.
Exactly. So this one was less on the gadgets or less
was-
creative for
Yeah.
the most part.
It was more about, it was kind of like dumb pranks.
Yes, which is why it leads more to like the adult Home Alone thing.
Yeah. Especially when he goes into like this mobster's home. This is like near the end.
Yeah.
Where he's doing all this stuff, and I'm like, Well, because, he has that box of the instant potatoes. He has, like, all this other stuff. And you see him come into this house. And I know we talked about this together. But I was just like, how did he know how this house was situated? How did he know this house had a fan so he can blow the potatoes to look like snow? And then how did he know that he could put like a little thing, a tripwire thingy at a certain part of the house, and then like smoke blows into the person's face so they pass out?
Not only that, but like, how did he get all that stuff in?
Yeah.
The ending is very
you see him come
problematic.
in and he's got like a 50-pound bag or something of sausages.
Yeah, he has tons of sausages and hot dogs. He has a bunch of dynamite. He has the instant potatoes.
Yeah.
And
how did he bring all like hundreds of pounds of gadgets with him into this house?
And like
then set it up in time.
Did they know the layout of the place? I don't even fully understand if they knew where exactly they were going ahead of time. That wasn't really made clear to us. And then, so there's like, it's like a big like mob mansion type of a place where they're doing like
It's supposed to be maybe like on Long Island or something, like, because they're outside of New York.
Yeah, I don't know. that part I don't care about. The part that I care about is that there's like one person guarding the entire place. So like they knew who would be staffed there.
And they knew that they would have dogs, so they brought all these sausages to lure these dogs.
And so he uses the tennis court to like shoot the sausages at the dogs, and they're following the trail, and the guard guy just lets them go and lets them do that. And next thing you know, he's inside the building with all of his shit, evidently. And he's like setting up this massive fucking smoke machine inside a cabinet thing, which he needs to hide the smoke machine, which he must have known was in there. A lot of this stuff, and then it basically creates like a tripwire type of a situation where like a dart or something or smoke knocks this guy unconscious. Mm-hmm. A lot of the gadgets and stuff are predicated on the concept of someone being in the exact right spot in the exact right time. There's no contingency plan of any of this stuff.
That's why I do like the first movie, because when he is being chased around in like some random house, he's just finding random items. He's like, what can I do with this? Like a lighter. He's like, oh, I can do this with this.
Yeah.
Like it's MacGyver-ish in a way.
Yeah, and the earlier scene in the supermarket is the closest we get to that.
Yeah.
But this scene at the end, like
he anticipated all of these things.
It's like he knew that guy was going to be hovering over that specific pool table pocket to
have
the cue ball come up and knock him out, and assumed that was going to actually knock him out. Like, you know, like that's not a given. So like, why set up this big old thing just to, like, knock some dude on the head when he could have been like, ow, hey, stop. And then like the guy outside who like steps on the trap that he sets and like sets him flying. Mm. Good thing he stepped in that exact right spot and didn't like miss the trigger.
This movie is
there's a lot of that. It's like, you know, the guy standing guard in the boat and like the submarine comes and shoots a dart. Good thing that hit him and didn't miss the dart shot. There's just so much that whatever.
We just talked about the end of the movie only.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems with the plot at the end of the movie, and that made it less fun in a way. Because I mean, it'd make a lot more sense if they were going to infiltrate his apartment to try to get him, and he set up all kinds of stuff like Home Alone, and like, you know, he knew all of his things, but instead he somehow was able to like case the place or like know exactly what to do and knew exactly how these people would act in order to get away with stuff. A lot of assumptions, but So the way that it gets to that spot is that, they have like a semi-decent like effects set up for catching this killer at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So I mentioned that Rollie, who is the main guy, was a special effects guy. He was, in the first movie, he was looped into faking an assassination of a mob guy in order to get him into witness protection.
Yeah.
And then that ended up being like a weird little fake out thing, and then Rollie was supposed to be killed, but the cops messed that up, and then he was whatever. Mayhem ensues. So in this one, he decides to work with the cops again because he's convinced by Mike, who was the ex-husband of Kim, Rollie's current girlfriend, and also father to Kim's son, Chris. I guess we'll get into them more later because they actually do serve something of a role. Mike is a cop. I'm not sure if I said that before or not. And wants to catch this killer. Someone is after some model, and he had just gotten out of jail. The killer had just gotten out of jail for, it was killing, right? A different model?
Yeah, he previously killed another model, and then this guy was just released early, and then he's stalking just another model.
He's stalking someone else, and so they devise this plan to create this fake setup, and then Mike will pose as the model in the shower to trap this dude and arrest him. And there's more plot holes there.
Well, this whole entire setup didn't even need to be a thing. No. Why couldn't they just arrest the guy?
Yeah,
the model killer.
I don't know.
Like, they did this whole crazy setup of, like, making this, like, screen.
Yeah, projection screen.
A projection
and, like, her
screen.
Filming something before and, like, setting up fog machines and cameras.
Making her look as if she's showering, and then her window is wide open so you can see her naked body through.
Yeah, to entice the guy.
Yeah, I know. I know that, but I mean, and then the guy who is the killer of models sees her across the street, and then that whole scene of him looking at her in the shower was too long.
Yeah, yes.
It's just him creepily staring for a good 10 minutes.
And like grabbing a knife or something at some point, I think they show.
And then he finally grabs a knife.
But yeah, he makes such a goofy face, and it sort of makes it look like the cops like know that he's
the cops
at him and
see her.
Yeah.
And then see him go into her apartment building.
They're watching him, and he's like, he's coming in. It's like, well, then fucking
like,
arrest
why
him.
didn't they just catch him there at that point?
Yeah, if they know it's the guy, and they had shown proof that she was being sent threatening correspondence in the mail, and you know it's from him, hey, guess what?
Why
That's reason enough to arrest him
before he does all of this.
Yes.
And then,
or, like we were saying as well, all of the other cops, aside from Mike, who's in the shower with like a fake breast piece, which he could talk on to other people by pressing a nipple to talk to somebody on the outside. That's the best gadget. I mean, come on.
Like a nipple talkie? I don't know.
It's not the watchy talkie. It's like the nip talk. I don't know. Anyway, so like there's no other cops in the apartment. But yet this dude is allowed to like break into the apartment and go into the shower and confront Mike.
Like they had to catch this killer in the act of killing to catch him.
That's what they're trying to like assume to the audience, but
dumb
no.
To me.
Yeah, like have some dude in a room, and as soon as he opens the door,
knock him out.
Knock him out. Have another cop there.
Yeah, all the cops had to leave that apartment building.
Yeah, they have like 4 cops watching from across the way, but only one of them with binoculars.
And then they're watchy talking the guy.
They're watchy
Mike.
talking.
Saying, "Oh, here he comes. You better."
Here he comes. Whatever. So yeah, and then Rollie's there, as well in a different location, not with the cops, and he sees. Oh, by the way, Mike gets his throat cut, but not by the killer they were stalking, by another unknown guy. And then Rollie sees him in the back stairwell, chases after him, almost gets run over, and then he runs back into the crime scene and says the killer got away. And the cops are like, "What are you talking about?" Because they had shot the stalker guy dead in the apartment. And that's when Rollie starts to realize, "Uh-oh, it happened again. Right. My parents left me alone in New York." Going with the Home Alone theme.
Yeah, I know.
But
yeah, I mean, yeah.
But I mean, it was Mike's idea to do this stupid thing. And then all the crooked cops took that as an opportunity to kill Mike.
Yeah.
I guess. Because Mike was getting too close to some case where they had stolen medallions and whatever.
from
Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel medallions were stolen at some point.
From Rome,
and the cops are in on it trying to retrieve them.
And then they had the rest of the movie is them, I don't know, Rollie figuring it out that these other cops planned for Mike to get killed because Mike was too close, and finding out about these medallions because these cops were a part of that.
Yep.
And they were working with the mob or whatever.
Yeah, to get him back and
get some ransom or whatever, and to return it back to the Vatican.
Yeah.
Which, it's okay.
So, convoluted.
Yeah.
But at least there's a creepy clown.
Yeah.
So, along with all of that, there's a creepy clown named Bluey.
Yeah, Rollie
I don't know why it's named Bluey.
Clown, like an animatronic clown, but it's you.
It mimics all your movements.
Yeah, so you have to put on like a suit, and it has all these sensors, kind of like a blue screen or green screen type of thing, and it mimics your moves while you wear this suit.
Yeah, so if you raise your right hand, the clown will raise its right hand. There's no wires or anything connected to it. It's just the suit will transmit the signals.
But this is something that he's making is like a child's toy.
Yes.
Like he wants to make more of them. And I was like, what? How much is this thing gonna be?
Yeah, it's for rich kids.
Because that's it's like a life-size 6-foot clown, and it's scary looking. And then why is it a clown?
Yeah, why is it a clown with like piercing like white eyes?
Scary eyes.
Yes. And his name Bluey. I don't
know why.
I don't know if it's
he's like, I'm gonna name it Bluey's.
Like the really light blue eyes or something.
Yeah, he's got like White Walker eyes.
Yeah, that's a good. That's the better description. And so the clown comes into play a lot.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like, okay, I was expecting like the monster or things similar to the monster from the first one to be involved in the movie more, especially because it shows up in like the monster. It shows up in the poster.
Yeah.
It shows up in the art. But it really doesn't. It only it's only in like a couple scenes, and you don't really see like similar creature creations. This Bluey, obviously at some point, is just a dude in a suit.
Oh,
with like choreography. But the general concept again is like Rollie will be fighting somebody sort of from afar,
right,
or a couple steps back.
He puts on that suit and he uses the clown to beat
some
guy's ass.
Yeah. The real killer comes in to Rollie's apartment, and they have honestly a pretty good fight scene. The clown part was like goofy as all hell. I know what they're going for, but after like the clown part was done, like the rest of that fight scene was pretty good. And like it was like, I don't know, crunchy, and it felt real, and a lot of hard hits and throwing people around and stuff. It was good. Same thing in the first one, like that. And again, it basically mimics the first one. Someone breaks into the apartment, has a fight with Rollie.
Yeah, but
things happen.
Yeah.
But, everyone survives in the second one as opposed to the first one. That's the main difference. But yeah, the clown is used as, a surrogate fighter. And he's like wrapping himself around people and like he's like jumping. Rollie's jumping up in the air to make the clown jump.
Right.
As if it has like, that amount of weight and torque, whatever. And then near the end, the clown is in control of the helicopter that the
that
main
flies
guy
all the way
trying...
to Rome. Like, can that even last?
Yeah. So there's a couple things. One is that the clown is flying the helicopter. That's number one. Through remote control, which means that Rollie needs to know how to fly a helicopter, and do it through a freaking remote control.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine without, anybody assuming anything wrong.
Because he's kind of using, so he would have to blindly use controls because Rollie is wearing the suit and the clown is in the helicopter flying it, and Rollie is mimicking all the movements on how to start everything and fly up, basically, in this helicopter. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then he uses the clown
while also
to
escaping on motorboat and whatever.
Right. He's doing multiple things. I don't know.
And then he steals the money with the clown, and
the clown jumps out of the helicopter, and the
main guy, Lieutenant Silek.
Yeah, the
main corrupt guy who's left.
Is left in a helicopter alone. And at the end credits, this is not even a bloop.
Not even a blooper.
It's not a blooper.
But like after some of the credits roll and like the coda is tacked onto the movie showing that they're in the Vatican.
Right.
Then
they show the helicopter going above the Vatican?
I guess so.
But how can a helicopter go from New York to Italy and
on one tank of gas, and he's able to keep it flying the whole time, and clearly it's not the same day because they have to fly to Vatican themselves,
right,
to drop this anyway. Oh, it's such a weird ending. I don't know why they did it.
Was that supposed to be like a comedy relief? Be like, he's still in the helicopter.
Yeah,
but
it's just another thing that just did not make sense in the movie. And the first one made mostly sense.
Yeah, the first one was
grounded
good.
In reality.
And I thought it was based off of a book series or something. But
it's a good concept.
Yeah.
The idea of having a movie special effects guy work with the police to set up something.
Yeah.
That's a good concept.
Yeah. They should have just, ended it at 1.
I guess, but they also made a TV series.
Yeah, but I'm curious about the TV series.
Yeah, I don't know.
See how that is.
I've never seen it, obviously, because I didn't even know about FX in general, but I don't have the dates of the TV series. Was it 95 or so that they started it? It only ran
was
for a couple
96
seasons.
to 98, and it was only aired in Canada.
We think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We
Let
tried
us
to
know
look
if you
it
saw
up.
it. It was probably syndicated, just not, anywhere that we were aware of. But, there's no way to watch the TV series online that we're aware of legally. So, who knows? But, yeah, they made a TV series.
Yeah, and it was a few years after the sequel.
Yeah, different actors as well, of course. Because Bryan Brown, I think, was mostly an Australian actor, and I don't think he would have.
He was probably
come back down. Yeah, I don't think he would have come back down.
Right.
And then a lot of people weren't going to do TV at that time. Like Brian Dennehy, he's the other lead that we haven't even talked about at all. He plays Leo, who was a good cop in the first one until they stole the money from the first one at the end.
Yeah, he helps Rollie out in the first one.
Yeah, in the last scene.
steal money together, like $15 million from the mob.
Right. From the first set of corrupt cops. And then when Rollie gets in trouble again, he calls on Leo
and
to
he's
help
like,
him.
we're at it again, type of thing.
Yeah, I'm in trouble. I need you. And then Leo comes in. And he's apparently living in some, like, abandoned bar. I don't, like, his house is a actual bar. That he's like, yeah, those peanuts have been there for 5 years. Or those, pickled eggs have been there for 5 years. Don't touch them.
Yeah.
And he's like, nobody knows about this place. Like, how is
like
that
a
thing?
speakeasy or what?
I don't know, but he lives there, and he brought the freaking monster from the first one to be in his closet.
To be in the bar,
which is
so
where it shows
like
up.
if someone comes into the bar, like breaks in, that monster can pop out.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how he got a hold of that monster either, but hey. But yeah, so Leo's there. He doesn't, he's there to help solve the mystery and do some of the police groundwork and have some interactions with people who you think are good who turn out to be bad.
Yes.
Like his DA friend, Liz Kennedy, played by Joanna Gleason.
Right.
And then he, has that big revelation of that she's bad too because her cat is named one of the code names he saw in one of the files that... Oh my god, there's so much plot stuff that I don't know if it's worth talking about or not.
If we just talk about like the main issues, which we already talked about the main issues. I don't know.
So yeah, Leo is there, and so there's only 3 returning people from the first movie. It's Rollie, Leo, and then also a character named Velez, who also works in the police department, is doing like research,
like a computer expert.
Yeah, exactly.
Researcher, and looking things up.
Yeah, so yeah, she's doing like record keeping and like research, and she finds out that the social security numbers of these people are in sequence and whatever.
Right, and she does kind of like early hacker type stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. She helps walk through Kim's son Chris onto sending that information over modem.
Right, through a floppy disk.
Through a floppy disk modem in 1991, through a computer store in the mall. So those are only 3 returning people, and Velez would not return for a 3rd movie because her character gets killed off, unfortunately.
Spoilers.
Yes. Well, the whole movie.
I know.
This podcast is a spoiler.
I know.
Yeah, so Leo, he's there a lot, but he doesn't, I don't know. Aside from, like, plot progression, he doesn't really serve much for a purpose. And it's honestly kind of weird that, it's honestly kind of weird that he doesn't seem to care about the threat of the cops in this one. I don't know if you got that impression from him, but it seemed like, I don't know, like after going through what they did in the first movie,
right?
You'd think that he would see a little bit more urgency, but it's more like, yeah, who gives a shit, man? Come on, let's have a drink, let's catch back on good times. It's not even a phrase, but you know what I mean. I don't know. He didn't care. It was like a phoned in.
Yeah, he was
character.
Just like, I guess we're at it again, so let's just
of.
Get this over with, type of deal.
And even like in the main confrontation at the end, where it was revealed that Liz is actually a bad guy and in with the mob too. Like there's no emotion behind what he says. It's just like, cold-eyed. It's like, yeah, and then this is gonna happen, and what did you think was gonna happen, and blah blah blah. Just kind of weird. Expected more out of Dennehy, honestly. But we got more from Kim and Chris, who we haven't talked about a whole lot either. So the girlfriend, Kim, played by, I don't know how to pronounce the last name, sorry, Rachel Ticotin. She was in Total Recall, most notably.
Yeah.
She was in Spies, Lies, and Naked Thighs, which is a VHS I have but have not watched.
Okay.
Falling Down, Con Air, and she's also in 2 more 1991 movies for us.
She was married to David Caruso.
Yeah, she was also married to David Caruso for a short time. And then she has a son named Chris, who is a computer nerd to a degree, I guess. I don't know. He's a typical kid, but he happens to also know computers. And he has a disc with computer games and a very crucial file to the progression of this case.
Yeah.
And so they go to the mall. They're in hiding.
Yeah,
but they go to the mall to help with the case by sending the file of her modem.
So I guess we go back when Mike dies, who is Chris's father.
Yes.
The
cops are raiding the
cops
apartment.
are the next day basically. The cops are in Mike's apartment, just going through all his stuff, and there's one cop that's in Chris's room, just going through all his floppy disks. And Chris is like, these are my games. Can I take them home with me?
Yeah.
And the cop is like, no. But, Kim, the mom, Kim is like, can you just give him his games? They're just games for a kid. Like, why do you need to look at them? But a file is saved on one that Mark, the father, saved onto one of Chris's games about this whole heist of these coins.
Yeah, it was hiding under a file named Becker, and Rollie makes a comment of like, Becker, what kind of game is that? And then
they're like, whatever, can I just get this game, please, and be on my merry way?
Yeah, and so they basically like steal it from the cops, even though it's their own property, and then go away. Like, Rollie makes the connection that, Becker was involved in the heist of these coins. I've heard that name before. Blah, blah, blah. So, so Chris has to go to the mall, to the computer store, to get everything transferred over to the cops.
Right. To hack into this floppy disk thing.
And in the middle of transferring the file, the real killer infiltrates the computer room, stops the transfer before it's complete. And then Rollie gets there in time to sort of save the day, because Kim and Chris are being held hostage sort of by the killer. And then they escape into a grocery store that's attached to the mall, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, some malls.
I've never seen that personally.
I guess there's like Targets that are attached to some malls, and that's like the closest to a grocery store.
I guess, but this is like full-on grocery store.
Full-on.
That's near a mall or in the mall.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, that's cool. It's probably a thing in other places, just not anywhere that I've been. But they're able to, escape into the grocery store, but the killer's right behind. And then they get into a big more of like a MacGyver type of a scenario where he's using all the different groceries and setups to draw the killer away from them.
And Rollie's doing all this stuff, and Chris, the son, is like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Like, you're setting stuff on fire.
Yeah, it's like, he's using these aerosol cans and lighters to cook the beans until they pop in his face and stuff like that. So, I mean, they're interesting things and tactics, but boy, that killer is dumb in that moment. There are so many cases where he's, like with the beans, he's just he's looking at the beans while they're cooking. Like, clearly, that's not your purpose. Clearly, you should know that if things are moving and popping,
and catch him. Yeah.
Or if the popcorn is popping in the barrel, because evidently there's a barrel of unpopped popcorn kernels just loose for anyone to have, or that's how they're distributed at the store. If you're seeing these things happen, then it should be pretty obvious that it's either a distraction, or B, just not the thing that you're trying to kill. Mm-hmm. So look elsewhere.
Right.
Or he sees he goes down this aisle where all kinds of stuff is there. And there's a flame coming to him because they had set a fire.
Mm-hmm.
And he just keeps on walking down the aisle. You can see in front of your face that they're not in that aisle. But you can see that there's a flame coming towards you. How about stop walking towards it? I don't know. He's just a pure idiot in some of these cases. And he has to put out the fire on his shoes by dumping syrup on it. Which I don't know if that works, but... Anyway, push comes to shove. They end up getting trapped into like the meat department in the back or something. Some back room that had turkeys in, like frozen turkeys that weren't frozen or in a refrigerated area. They were just in a bucket near the door. And Rollie takes a couple and is able to smack the dude with them, and then puts him under the like the cellophane machine and like traps him under, and like, you know, shrink wraps his head and like nearly suffocates him. He doesn't though, because he gets information about who he works for or whatever. But they cut away from him after he's been shrink wrapped, and this is what bugs me about this movie too. They cut over to Leo with Velez talking about getting like food, or maybe they are getting food. I don't remember which one happens at that time. And that's when like Velez gets killed while they're trying to get food. And then all of a sudden Raleigh's like, you know, they don't show the resolution of the grocery store. Like they're in the back room.
Yeah, was that guy killed? The killer killed?
No. I don't think so. If he was, they didn't show it.
I know that Rollie asked him, like, tell me everything. And then, you know, I'm assuming the killer told him everything. And then that was it. Yeah,
I guess. But they don't show it. Like, just all of a sudden, like, they're all safe. And the killer's not pursuing them anymore?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's dead.
I don't know.
Whatever.
They should have explained it.
I know.
It's like they're just home.
Yeah, and they come home and they're like, boy, wasn't that a crazy day?
Yeah. Basically.
Let's go to bed. I don't know.
It's like, okay, you're safe then?
Right.
I don't know. It's just, yeah, a lot of things were just sort of half-assed in terms of the plot progression, I guess. I wish there was more in terms of the gadgets, like I said before. Like, before, I don't know. Like, okay. Rollie goes to church and follows, like, the main cop, Alec, and then his stoolie, Neely, you know, the convict on the inside who's giving him all the information.
Right.
Because they think they found out where the medallions are, and so they go to church. Rollie follows him, and all he does to dress up
is put like a hat on.
Put a Budweiser hat on and some sunglasses. In the first movie, he's down in like the freaking sewers or something.
He's
and
like
he finds
a makeup
dress
artist,
up like a bum.
Right. He's like a makeup
nowhere.
artist, special effects guy. He couldn't put on like a face of makeup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he knew this, like
to look like another person.
When he escaped like a bum, he had no advance warning and he had nothing around him. He just made it happen. Right. This time he knew what he was going to do. He knew he was going to be following these people.
Yeah, he can put on a mask.
There's no Budweiser hat and glasses.
Right.
Come on. Anyway, yeah, a lot of these things don't make sense. I'm trying to think of what else I can say about Kim and Chris's involvement in the movie. I don't know. I mean, I'm glad that they didn't die. They weren't there for just like body count purposes.
Yeah, in the first movie, it was really sad that, you know, his girlfriend got killed basically just for looking out of a window.
Yeah.
That was sad. And then, you know, he's... the first movie is so good, like really good.
Yeah.
And then, like, you can see that he's, like, really upset and scared. You can see that he's like, what do I do? I mean, and then he's, like, carrying her dead body back to the bed, and he's, like, trying to, like, console himself and then, like, console her in a way, even though she's dead. And then all of a sudden, all these people are coming at him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I gotta defend myself now.
Yeah, he has, like, no time to grieve for the most part. This time he doesn't have anything to grieve, but... aside from, I guess, Mike, but... I mean,
he barely even knew Mike. He just... And then it seemed as if Kim and Chris didn't seem like they were really grieving either. Because when Mike dies, Rollie comes in, he's like, there was an accident, and they both just stare at him.
Yeah, unless they just kind of gloss over that part. I don't know. They didn't feel like it was necessary to do that. I don't know. But I mean, aside from that, I mean, I do think that the performances are good all around. Aside from Brian Dennehy. Sorry, Brian, but you did not give a shit about this.
Stick to Tommy Boy.
Yeah. We'll see him in one more 1991 movie in broad daylight. But like Bryan Brown, I like Rollie as a character. I think like it's this weird mix of where it seems like he doesn't give a shit, but it's really just like confidence and cockiness that comes across as, you know, I don't know. But he does care about people. Like he may not like be like crying and weeping over his girlfriend's death too much, but you know, in the first one, but you know, he still clearly cares, and he plays like the action role well. And I don't know, I really like what Bryan Brown did with this. And same thing with Kim, like, you know, she might not have a meaty role, but she does what she needs to do with this. And Chris was not a bad child actor. Not plot related, but I do think we should talk about the theme song.
Yeah.
Go to the website and listen to the theme song. There is a video that's like a compilation of the music from this movie. The opening theme song, which is also played in the end credits, is awesome.
Yeah, I liked it.
It's really good. I was trying to think about it a little bit more. I think it's sort of like if Alf were an action movie.
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, this is very 90s sitcom type music.
Yes. Yeah, it's more sitcom-y, but like, you know, with like a little bit of
like Mission Impossible-ish.
Yeah, which makes sense because the guy, Lalo Shiffrin, wrote Mission Impossible. He wrote that theme song.
And this was more of like a bossa nova, like up-tempo, jazzy, bebop type song.
Yeah, imagine like Alf meets Miami Vice.
Yeah.
Something like that. Listen to it. It's legitimately really good. So, yeah, Lalo Shiffrin, who won an Oscar in 2019, an honorary Oscar in 2019. He was nominated for 6 real ones, including for things like Cool Hand Luke and The Sting 2. But he won. He only won. He only won a Grammy for Mission Impossible. He was nominated 4 times for his Emmys, and he was nominated 3 times for Mission Impossible specifically. But yeah, he's done a bunch. He's done tons of stuff. He's a lot of stuff from like the 50s and 60s as well, like Man from U.N.C.L.E. and whatnot. But listen to it. Go to the website. Listen to it. 1991movierewind.com. Talking about some other cast stuff. Since this is a very special effects heavy movie, we should talk about the main person who's credited, Eric Allard. Let's get his name right at least. He's Oscar nominated for Stuart Little for doing the effects in that movie, which I'd never seen, but I'm assuming that there would be a lot of like trying to combine CG with real world elements, sort of like
to make a mouse look small compared to bigger.
Or just, you know, having like the CG mouse interact with real world objects.
Yeah.
He also worked on Back to the Future 2. He may not have been the lead on all of these, but he did work on all of these. Back to the Future 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, Demolition Man, Matrix Reloaded, Mission Impossible 3, and probably most importantly, Short Circuit 1 and 2.
Oh,
so, cool. Big pedigree from him. Richard Franklin has not done a whole lot of directing, to be honest. Well, not of anything majorly of note. Nothing that I've seen either, aside from this, that I could tell. He did movies Patrick in 1978. He did Road Games in 1981. He did Psycho 2. And probably his most popular, aside from maybe this one, is Cloak and Dagger. Which I still have not seen.
It's been a while, but I remember liking it.
It's supposedly a good one. Bill Condon wrote this. He's an Oscar winner for Gods and Monsters. same guy that wrote this.
Where was his writing skills for this movie?
Had not fully developed, evidently. He was also nominated both at the Oscars and at the Golden Globes for Chicago. He wrote that as well. He went on to do Kinsey, Dreamgirls, and The Greatest Showman, most recently, I think. We'll see him again a couple more times. In 1991, he wrote and directed Murder 101.
Oh,
so
okay.
we get to experience that. And he also directed 2 other 1991 movies, White Lie and Dead in the Water. So he was very busy around this time. He didn't have too much time to clean up the script of FX2. He was busy working on 3 other movies in this year, directing and writing a couple. So we'll also see Bryan Brown again in 1991. A couple different times. Sweet Talker and Dead in the Water with Bill Condon. So he's a Golden Globe and Emmy nomination for the Thornbirds TV series.
Okay.
Yeah. What I found interesting about his credits history is that he may be well known for things like Cocktail and Breaker Morant and stuff like that. He was in 2 movies called Palm Beach. One was released in 1979. The other one was released in 2019. I did not go far enough to see if there's a connection. Maybe on the next Bryan Brown movie, I'll look into that and see if they're connected or if it's just a coincidence. I want to talk about Chris, played by Dominic Zamprogna. Apologize if I pronounce
Zamprona?
Sure. This was his very first role, from what I could tell. He's gone on to be very successful in TV. He was Atreyu in the Neverending Story TV series, which evidently was a thing in 1995, and I did not know about it.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that either. Was it, like, animated?
I don't know. I really don't know. He was also on a Canadian teen drama for a little while called Edgemont. And then he's been on General Hospital since 2009.
He's still on?
And he's still on.
Well, okay,
he plays a character named Dominic Falconeri.
Okay. I know someone that watches that show, and I will ask.
Okay.
Do you? So, I will assume.
Most likely, that's one of like 3 names that he's credited under. So I guess like in the show, he's been like his name has changed for various reasons as part of the plot. But right now, Dominic Falconeri, and he's been on that show for almost, I don't know, what, 12 years, I guess? 12, 13 years. So, yeah. The person who played Velez, Josie de Guzman, this was her last role for the most part. She had one more credit on her name on 2002. So from 1991, nothing until 2002 on TV and movies. She did a guest spot on a show called Third Watch. FX movies are really her only 2 movies. She was mostly a Broadway star. She played Maria in West Side Story on Broadway, and she was also in Guys and Dolls and was nominated for Tonys for both of those. She also worked with Joanna Gleason, who played Liz Kennedy, in a 1991 stage musical, Nick and Nora, where Gleason was playing Nora, Barry Bostwick was playing Nick, and Josie de Guzman was a replacement actor. So, 1991 connection between these 2 actors in the movie. Actually, 2 more quick little notes here. And we got Kylie was the model at the beginning, right? She was played by Lisa Fallon. This is the only credit for her. She did not act again. She went on and married a cinematographer named Dan Mindell, who has been very prolific, and he will appear in Thelma and Louise as the first assistant cameraman. But he has since gone on to be the cinematographer for such movies as Star Wars 7 and 9, Mission Impossible 3. So that may explain why she didn't act. So whatever. And then something that I found interesting just because of my other hobbies here, Kerry Stone, who played Cousin Beth, one of the people that they, at the safe house that they go to, if you remember.
Okay.
So Rollie sends Kim and Chris off to live with Kim's sister,
Yes.
And then Beth is there and she answers the phone a couple times. This is her only credit as an actor. The only other thing that pops up in her credits is a producer for a documentary called Jack of All Trades, which is a documentary about baseball cards.
Oh.
So, her brother, Stu Stone, co-directed and starred in that documentary. It's basically about their relationship to their father, who owned a baseball card store in Toronto and then abandoned the family at some point. So, thought that was interesting because I'm a baseball card nerd.
So, another thing about this movie or both movies, is that they were produced by Dodi Fayed. Dodi Fayed was the oldest son of Egyptian billionaire Mohammed Al Fayed, who's a former owner of Harrods department store. Do you know Harrods?
I know the name. I don't think there was one near me.
It's mostly just in London.
Oh, then definitely wouldn't have been able to be. I didn't realize
I think it's just one
I didn't
giant
realize it was a
store.
London only thing.
Anyway, so Fayed, along with producing FX and FX2, he was the executive producer of films such as Chariots of Fire, the movie Breaking Glass, and then another 1991 movie, Hook, The Scarlet Letter, and he was also a creative consultant for the FX TV series. So, and that was it. That's all I see for his credits as a producer. So on to the true crime. In July 1997, Fayed became romantically involved with Princess Diana, Princess of Wales. And I didn't realize they had a very short, I don't want to say, relationship. Because in August 31st, 1997, so like a month and a half or so later, Diana and Fayed died in a car crash in the Pont de l'Alma underpass in Paris. I hope I said that correctly. They stopped in Paris en route to London after having spent 9 days together on holiday in the French and Italian Rivieras aboard his family's yacht. And neither Fayed nor Diana were wearing a seatbelt in the back. So investigations by French and British police concluded that their chauffeur, Henry Paul, was driving under the influence of alcohol and prescription drugs. And the paparazzi chasing the couple were believed to have contributed a little bit to the accident, which I think was the main reason. I think that was the main contributor, not this driver being under the influence.
Yeah, the driver was trying to get away from the screaming,
from mass amounts of cars and flashing lights. Yes.
The double impact opening scene level of pursuit.
Yeah. So Fayed's father, Mohammed Al Fayed, claimed that the couple were, quote, executed by MI6 agents. That's his father's thoughts of how they died. Fayed's former spokesman, Michael Cole, claimed that the couple had become recently engaged before their deaths because they found a ring.
Okay.
But it wasn't...
There's no way to know for sure.
Right. Fayed's father erected 2 memorials to his son and Diana at the Harrods in London. We could have...
Well, there you go. That's a reason to go in, right?
Well, I'll tell you more.
Okay.
The first memorial was unveiled in April 1998. It consists of photos of the two behind a pyramid-shaped display that holds a wine glass that was still smudged with lipstick from Diana's last dinner, which is a little weird.
Yeah.
And also the ring that Fayed had purchased the day before they died.
Okay.
So that ring that they think was going to be an engagement ring.
Okay.
The second memorial was unveiled in 2005, and it's a bronze statue called Innocent Victims. I have a picture of it, and then I can give to you so we can put it on the website.
So it should be on the website.
It's 10-foot high bronze statue, and it's of them dancing on a beach beneath the wings of an albatross. So they're like holding hands dancing, and there's a big winged bird above them.
Okay.
That's a big giant statue in Harrods. But the statue, as of January 2018, that statue was returned to the Al Fayed family, so you cannot see that statue anymore in Harrods.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah. And you can watch, I'm assuming season 5 of The Crown is going to show a better...
Yeah, whichever season it's going to be, yeah.
I'm assuming it's going to be season 5 of The Crown.
Sure.
Would probably go in depth about their death. And then also another podcast that I really like called You're Wrong About. They did a 5-part series about Princess Diana where I learned a lot, and they go into their deaths way more.
I remember that time.
Yeah, I was clearly in high school.
Yeah, I had a friend over the night it happened, and we were playing video games or whatever, and like we saw the news flash that Princess Diana had been injured. That's basically all it had said. And we were like joking around like, oh, Princess got a boo-boo. And then like we went and like played like some video game. And then like after we were done playing that game, the news had said that she had died. We're like, oh.
I think it was really late at night because I think I was watching
it was really late at night.
I think I was watching SNL or something, and then they stopped to I don't know if they stopped in between the show or something, or maybe it was right after the show ended.
But yeah, it was definitely overnight hours.
Yeah,
when we found out, because it was like
it was like early morning over there, and
just playing games all night in
France. Yeah,
saw at like 3 a.m. that she had died, and you're like, oh,
right.
I guess we shouldn't have made that joke.
Yeah, because I remember seeing that, and they showed the car wreckage. They didn't show them or anything, but it was all of that leading up into her like memorial, and they even showed like her funeral on TV and stuff. I watched all of that.
I didn't.
Oh.
No.
I don't know. I was like,
I wasn't that invested
really
in the whole
invested in that.
It was like Elton John song was on everywhere, but
right.
That was about the extent of my involvement.
And they had a Princess Diana Beanie Baby, which is probably, I don't know how much it is.
I have no idea if it was to be worth anything.
Yeah, on eBay. All right, moving on to, the top songs and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So we have new songs for the week of May 10th, 1991. Top song of the U.S. was Roxette's Joyride.
Okay.
And the top song in the UK was Cher's Shoop Shoop song. It's in His Kiss. Do you remember that song?
Oh, yeah. I forgot that was a thing.
That was for the movie Mermaids. So Mermaids was in 1990.
90, yeah.
So, I mean, it was
5
in the
months later, it was like
I guess that movie
going
was released in the UK around that time, like maybe 5 months later.
Maybe. I don't know.
You don't care for that song?
I don't like that song. Any version.
Even the original?
Yeah, even the original I don't like.
All right, and then on to TV. I'm not doing TGIF anymore because now it's just the same.
Yeah.
So I checked SNL listings, and there was an SNL the day after on May 11th, 1991, and we watched it on Peacock.
On Peacock.
We watched this episode, and it was extremely redacted of all the things that I was interested in.
Yeah, but they take away all the music performances, and they also cut a lot of sketches, especially if there's like some sort of rights issue. Yeah. So it's like almost like a half hour of stuff.
Right.
And there's 4 or 5 things missing.
For this episode, it was Delta Burke as the host, and the the music performance was by Chris Isaak, and he performed the song Wicked Game and then another song called Diddly Daddy, which I
only know Wicked Games from Chris Isaak.
He has a couple other songs.
I'm sure he does, but I only know Wicked Games.
And he also appeared in a sketch called The Karaoke Bar in that episode, but that was not on Peacock. We didn't see it. And I remembered this episode really well for this sketch that we could not see was when Madonna appeared as a cameo for a Wayne's World sketch. And it was for her Justify My Love video.
Yes. We could see that sketch, just not on Peacock, because that sketch does appear on like the Wayne's World VHS tape, which I do have back at my parents' house. So we can watch it again.
But
at some point in the future.
I remember that sketch really well because, I mean, at this point I was peak 100% a Madonna stan. I was obsessed with her. So I remember watching that. Just that alone.
Yeah, they have, basically like Wayne and Garth have like a fantasy sequence. They go,
it's all it's all black and white, and they're in her video where it's all like bondage and whatever happening.
And it's a really good
sketch.
Good sketch. But Delta Burke did a good job hosting. We watched it before recording this.
They had a really long sketch about Weight Watchers.
yeah, like the sketches were not good. The ones that were included were not good.
They did Coffee Talk with her in it, which
with Paul Baldwin.
Yeah.
One of the original Coffee Talks with Paul Baldwin before he switched to the Linda Richman
character.
Yeah,
where the Linda Richman one was better.
Yes. So it was interesting just to see that, like an actual Paul Baldwin sketch.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, not much to write home about. We did end up watching the Alec Baldwin episode that we talked about last time, and that's a lot better. So.
Yeah, they had more sketches to be seen. I don't know.
And they were funnier.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, Peacock has it if you want to watch that. So let's go to rankings and ratings then. On your 1 to 5 star scale, where would you put FX2?
I mean, I would give this a 2.
I think that's fair. On my 0 to 4 star scale, I think I'm going to put it as a 2 as well. I know we ragged on the plot holes a lot, but it was still entertaining. It just wasn't, it wasn't well constructed. We wish it would have done more. The first one's obviously better.
Yeah, but this one was first one was great.
This one was still like a good time, even if it was sort of repetitive. So yeah, it's a 2 out of 4. Every movie's worth watching once. Would you watch it again?
Yeah. I mean, if it's on like in the back, this is like a background movie. Like if I'm working and I kind of want to watch something mindless, this is what I would watch.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd watch...
Because I don't really have to pay attention, because I don't really care what's going on.
Yeah, you definitely don't have to pay attention to what's going on. I don't know if I would watch this one again, because...
I would definitely watch the first... Yeah, I would watch the first one again.
Yes.
Because it's a good movie and it's interesting.
Yeah. But not so much this one.
Yeah.
But if you want to watch FX2, as of this recording on May 2021, it's available on Tubi, Pluto TV, digital rental, VHS, DVD. As always, check your local listings. As for us, you can listen to us on all your major podcasting platforms. Please rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends. You can email us at 1991movierewind@gmail.com. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Letterboxd. Just search 1991 Movie Rewind, or go to 1991movierewind.com for the full list of 800 movies, along with show notes and more, such as the music to this movie. Go listen to it. Next week, we'll be watching V.I. Warshawski, which is only available as a digital rental or on VHS or DVD. We will see you then.
Thanks.